It's about faith to believe. It's about hope to receive. It's about love to give life. It's about transplant life with me, Ms. Vinnie. I am truly blessed beyond measure. Thank you so much. 9 years ago, you guys, I had a life-saving heart transplant. I was literally dying from congestive heart failure. It was not funny. Oh my God, it was the most scariest part of my life. I was in and out of the hospital at least 50 times from congestive heart failure. It started in 1999 when I was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. They said my heart was too big. And I said, I'm a big girl, no big deal, right? And so I just continued to live my life. And I wasn't quite eating healthy. I was a smoker for many years. And, I was a single mother. So they were my primary focus, to be honest. And so I really didn't concern myself with the cardiomyopathy too much. But unfortunately, the disease progressed. And in 2004, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And that was impossible to ignore. It totally affected my life in every way. I couldn't breathe and eat at the same time. I couldn't walk a flight of steps. Everything I ate made me sick. Salt was the devil, right? Everything has salt in it. So everything I ate sent me into heart failure. So I was in and out of the hospital. I was swollen and aching. And it was a very, very miserable time of my life. Not only for me, but for my family as well. For my wonderful son, Tony, who I never would have made it without him. I'm telling you guys, he was my number one supporter. And that's why I just overwhelm him with love so much, because I truly appreciate him for being there for me when no one else was there. Tony was there for every ambulance ride. Tony was there. Every hospital visit, every doctor visit, Tony was there. And so we all need someone who we can say was our number one supporter. And truly, my wonderful son, Tony, has been that for me. And in 2014 was the worst year of my life. I had already received a pacemaker defibrillator because my heart, I would go into SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. Can you say that? Took me a while to be able to say that, but it's scary because your heart just starts going boom, 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 right? And you have to be rushed to the hospital so they can give you medication to lower your heart rate. Well, that happened to me many, many times. And then I started passing out, you guys, just plump, fall on my face, bust my face all up, swollen and everything. And the third time that I passed out, they told me that I could not leave the hospital because my heart was too weak. And that was terrifying for me. I have a picture that I want to share with you guys from when I was in the hospital and they told me that I couldn't leave the hospital. I was devastated. I had to do laundry, I had things to do, right? But no, I couldn't leave the hospital. So there I was. And so I waited for 6 months, 23 days in ICU under constant supervision. And, some days were good, some days were bad, some days were terrifying. You hear code blue every single day. And just pray to God that you're not next, And so that's what my life was like in 2014. And then on January 11th, 2015, I received a call from my transplant coordinator. Her name is Felicia, and she's gone home to be with the Lord. She died last year. Thank you, sweetie pie, sugar mama Glenda. Aw, you're so special. Miss Glenda was one of the people that supported me too. She would send me scriptures and she would pray for me and call me on the phone and visit me and bring my son to visit me, all kinds of stuff. I received a lot of love, during that season. A lot of prayers went up all over the country because I posted everything on Facebook. And so I had all these people following me, and I was able to encourage them. And you know how it is, when you're going through something, the Lord has a way of using you to bless others when you're going through some of the most difficult seasons of your life. You will encourage someone else and it'll make you feel better. And so on January 11th, I got the call that there was a heart for me. Finally, right? And I was so excited. And I remember they prepped me for surgery that night. And on January the 12th at 4 o'clock in the morning is when I had the actual surgery. So I celebrate both days. I really do. And, you know, organ donation saved my life by the grace of God. I'm still here. You know, I never met my donor family. And usually on days like this, on my anniversary, is when I think about him the most. I know that it was a young man whose heart I received. I don't know his name. I don't know where he's from. But all I know is he said yes to organ donation. And because he said yes, I had permission to receive his heart when he didn't need it anymore. And because of that generous gift, I'm still here. And I'm so grateful. So, so grateful that he decided to say yes, you know. And that's what we have to do, you guys. It's so important that we say yes to organ donation. It truly saves lives. You never know what the situation and circumstance may be, you know. It may be a loved one who needs a heart or a kidney or a liver or a pancreas. There's just so many ways that we could be donor heroes. It's so important that you say yes, that you get that pink dot on your driver's license. And knowing that, you know, your life will be saved in the end if necessary. But it's just so important that when your life is over and you don't need that heart, that kidney, that liver anymore, that you leave behind a legacy for someone else. And your life doesn't end, but it begins again in someone else. And so because of organ donation, I'm here. And because of wonderful people like you, who, thank you, Tony. Tony's bringing me tissue. Wonderful people like you who have been so kind and so thoughtful and so supportive over the years of everything that I've done. I just want to say thank you. And it was a year ago today that we started this program about Transplant Life. You know, it was my 8th heart anniversary. And I wanted to do something different. And so I decided to have a live Instagram party with all of my friends who are heart recipients and donor families and medical professionals that care for me. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated in that show, that first show. It was a year ago that we all got together on Instagram. And so Dr. Robert Hill, thank you so much. That's my buddy. Shantae Henderson, Dr. Nicole Irizarry, she just got married, and forgive me, Dr. Nicole, but I don't remember your new married name, so I'm going to call you Dr. Nicole, okay? E. Tiffany Jones with One Legacy, she was on our show. Sam Prince, he's a heart transplant recipient, he was on my show. Tammy McKinney, my favorite nurse, who took excellent care of me at Tech USC, she was on the show. Terry Long, my faithful friend, who was a liver transplant recipient. Rachel Rodriguez, who was a donor grandmother, who shared her story, she was on our show. And an extra special thank you to my wonderful son, Tony. And my number one supporters who are on here right now. Cheryl McCain, Kathy, I always mess up your last name, Bochaska, did I say it right? My wonderful friend, Kathy, and Terry Long and Essie Braddock. Those are the top 4. I checked the list. Those are the top 4 viewers of About Transplant Life. You guys have been on almost every show. And I just want to send an extra special thank you to you. I truly appreciate your support and your prayers. I love you truly. And a very special thank you to One Legacy. Being a One Legacy ambassador truly changed my life because it taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet as a recipient and share my story with boldness and confidence. And they allowed me to meet other people just like me, who have gone through similar journeys, you know, and donor families who, you know, have lost, you know, a loved one, but continue to support organ donation. You know, some amazing people from all over the country. That's what One Legacy did for me. You know, they opened up the transplant community. It's a whole different world, and we love each other. And we are committed to raising awareness of the importance of organ donation. And it truly changed my life. So thank you, One Legacy, for being so supportive this year and allowing me to be the first commentator, the One Legacy commentator at the One Legacy Donate Life Rose Parade float ceremonies this year at the Tournament of Roses Parade, honey. It was fun. And that's how I met Jeff. That's how I met Jeff Newell. And we're going to talk to Jeff in just a few minutes. But first, I want to bring my friend Kyle Dodd onto the program. Now, Kyle was on our show earlier last year. And Kyle is a single dad of two amazing people, Oliver and Bryn. And they are twins from Richmond, Virginia. And after being sick throughout the month of December and January in 2022, okay, this is what happened. It was discovered that Kyle had multiple blood clots in his left ventricle. After having two emergency surgeries, I'm excited, I'm messing up my words. After having two emergency surgeries to save his life, and he flatlined, okay, on January 27, 2023. He flatlined. Kyle received his new heart on February 8th, 2023. So he's going to be celebrating his first new heart anniversary in just a few weeks. But he's here tonight to tell his story and to talk about what's new.
Hey.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's my 9th heart anniversary today.
I know. Congratulations. It's a big day.
Thank you so much. I feel so blessed. I really, really do.
I'm sure. 9 is. I'm working on 1, so you're like a mentor for me now. Just to see you paved the way.
Oh, thank you so much. You look great.
Thank you. Feel great. I can't complain about anything.
You know, I follow you on Instagram, and I call you my superhero heart recipient because every time I see you climbing mountains, riding bikes, lifting weights, doing all kinds of stuff, where does that energy come from? Because I know you take immunosuppressants and the whole deal. So
I do. I take everything. I think it's probably a mix of things. Like, I was super, super active. As you know, like when we talked last time, what happened to me came on in like a month and a half, right? Like, I didn't have like, there was no like build up to it. It was literally like, I got sick, a month later, I'm dead in the hospital. And then I'm getting a transplant like 10 days later, right? And so I had been super fit and super active. And so I think that helped the transition for me. And then I think I'm just too stubborn, to be honest. Like, I think I just am too stubborn for my own good sometimes. Yeah, Becca said.
Mama said he's hard-headed and will never quit.
Yeah, that's my better half, Becca, and she nailed that one on the head. Yeah, I don't want to stop. Like, I think I have a fear that, like, if I do stop, that something will go wrong. So, like, almost, I still kind of have that. It's first year, right? So I think I still have that trauma of what happened last year, and me trying to be like, oh, okay, well, if I don't do these things, then something bad's going to happen again. And so I think that's a big part of it. Plus, I like accomplishing things. And when I challenge myself to do these hikes or, ruck challenges or go to the gym, it's because I'm almost like proving to myself that I can still do it. And I'm not like, I just want to feel normal. And I think that's as close to helping me feel normal as I can. And yeah, I don't always have the energy, but sometimes I just have to pretend.
That's good. That's good. I might have to start pretending too, because sometimes I just don't have no strength, man. And you really do have to force yourself. My surgeon, and I'll never forget what he told me. He said, Vinnie, you're going to have to crank yourself up every day and just go. Do you feel like that?
Yeah. Well, it was funny to me. Like, I think there's two of my medical team that really like said things to me or like pushed me that never left. And one of them was my physical therapist, Dr. Gaia. And she, like, when I was on TAH and literally like should have been unconscious. She was like,
so for normal people, what's TAH?
Yeah, it's an artificial heart. So I went about a week. I went about a week with a machine with no heart in my chest. It was just a machine, and I was all sewn up, so you wouldn't have been able to tell from the outside. But from the inside, I had just like a mechanical box like that was pumping my blood in place of my heart. And so once I woke up from that, she would not let me rest. Every day she would come in and be like, all right, it's time for therapy. And she'd be like, you're walking around the unit. And so I'd walk around the unit because I wasn't about to let her tell me I needed to do something and not do it. Like, that's crazy.
You're very competitive, huh?
I am hyper competitive, yeah. And so I think that was a big part of it. And so I always hear her voice in the back of my head, like, get after it, get after it. And then my main doctor, who was really like my post-care doctor for most of like the time I was in the hospital after the transplant, literally told me that as I was getting ready to get discharged, said, hey, when you get home, move your body. Like, move your body early, move it often, do not stop, walk the driveway the day you get home or the day after you get home, and don't stop moving. Like, get outside, don't waste this opportunity, don't waste the second chance. And so Dr. Shaw is always in my brain, like every day that I wake up, as I hear him saying, like, get outside, move your body, get outside, move your body. And I do have to like wake up, and you can ask Becca, like, I have to wake up, I have to get the motors running. He said it's like a train. It takes a long time to get started and a long time to slow down. But that's really kind of my morning routine is all about getting the blood pumping and getting the train moving so that it doesn't slow down during the day.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's a normal day like for Kyle? What do you do?
So I think from the military back before my heart issue, I've been very structured in the morning always. So I wake up, the first thing I do every morning is take a shower. I take a shower and then I do 2 minutes of a cold shower. So I turn it all the way to as ice cold as it'll go. And I'll sit in this shower for 2 minutes, fully ice cold. And that has a lot of different health benefits and triggers like dopamine release and all kinds of things, really beneficial for you. But that kind of wakes me up, like almost shocks me into being awake. All right, it's time to get moving. And it helps my heart get moving too, because my heart has to like slowly start pumping faster to keep me warm. And so that kind of revs the heart up a little bit in the morning. And then I just make the bed, I get a coffee, and I usually start work or I go to the gym. Usually go to the gym first thing in the morning and try to get the heart moving pretty heavily. Lifting weights, I don't do a ton of cardio outside of walking. Or doing like long rucks or long walks, like 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles. That's really my part.
3, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles.
Somewhere in there.
Every day, Kyle?
No. Those are usually like I usually have one of my. So I try to do like 5 days a week working out, and one of my 5 days a week is usually a walk of some sort. Or getting on the treadmill or getting on an elliptical or a bike. I can't really run anymore because of like the leg, the nerve damage I have in my leg from the ECMO surgery. But yeah, it's just try to get to the gym and then get to work. Try to be normal. Pretend to be normal anyway.
That is so cool. How did you adjust to the medication?
To be fair, like pretty easily. I got some like hand trimmers from the tacrolimus, which is one of the immunosuppressant meds, early on, but that for the most part has chilled out. My hands are still a little shaky, but not terribly. And then the big issue for me is the impact they have on my stomach. So I have to take like a nausea medicine because it just tears up my stomach. And if I don't take my nausea medicine, it takes me 3 or 4 days where I don't feel nauseous if I eat something or like super acid refluxy type thing. And so that's really the only main thing. Like, I've been really fortunate and blessed that like my kids have gotten sick, Becca's gotten sick, like everybody around me has gotten sick a bunch of times over the past year, and I've not got sick at all. Like, I got like a little bit of a chest cold thing where like for like 24 hours I was sick, and then it was like maybe a couple weeks of just the normal like congestion. But aside from that, I haven't been sick once this year, which I feel obviously super blessed by, because I should.
You are super blessed. Somebody even put blessed right there.
Yeah.
Looking at that. That is so awesome. I am so happy for you. What have you learned about yourself this past year? Because your anniversary is February the 8th, right?
Yeah, February 8th. It's coming quick. And the anniversary of me flatlining is what?
On the 27th, right?
18 days ago, 29th. We went back, so we thought it was the 27th. We went back and looked at all the doctor's notes, and it was the 29th that I flatlined. The night, like early, or I guess early morning of the 29th. But yeah, so like 18 days until that anniversary. There's a bunch of things that are like, this week is the first anniversary of when I went and did like an overnight in the hospital for the first time as they were trying to figure out what was going on. So the next like month is going to be kind of hot and heavy for me. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's exciting that we've made it this far. But it's wild that it's already been a year.
Yeah, I know, it goes by quick. And it's very emotional, right? It's very emotional what we go through. I mean, we're laughing and smiling about it now, but we went through hell, man.
Yeah, I think the thing, literally, yeah. Oh, I think the thing I learned, like I've had a lot of time to reflect back on it. I think the last time we talked, I was so fresh out that like I was just happy to be alive, right? Like I think you got me. I think when I was on, I was like maybe month 3 or 4, and so like I was just happy to be here. I was like waking up every morning just feeling on top of the world because I was alive.
But you already,
but I think over the past
walking and running and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And you're only 3 or 4 months out. I was like, I gotta talk to this dude. What is he taking?
Yeah, but so I think since then I've had a lot of time to like reflect and try to like be able to understand what I went through. And I think the thing I've learned most is that like I obviously like very blessed, very fortunate, all those things that don't need to be said, but or could go without saying. But just how resilient I think I naturally can be when forced in those positions. And I never felt sorry for myself. And I think that was like the big part for me is I was just like, okay, it just is like, this is life now. And I can either be upset and be sad and throw myself a pity party and lay in bed all day and think about what could have been or the life I had before, or I could just make a better life now. It's a different life, but I could still make it amazing. And I think that was the big part. I think that's the part that I'm most proud of myself for, is like never allowing myself to like feel bad for myself, because you know I'm a son, I'm a cousin, I'm a boyfriend, I'm a nephew, I'm a most importantly dad, and like I couldn't not let my kids or make my kids feel impacted. I went weeks, and I'm weeks without seeing them in the hospital, and I never wanted them to. And they were 7 or 6 at the time, so very scary for them, obviously, and very confusing for them of what was going on. And so it was just important for me to be like the man that I think I'm supposed to be, which is the rock, the foundation for my family. And just because I went through a little surgery shouldn't have changed that.
Little surgery. You just got a new heart. That's all.
No
I mean,
big deal.
You just got a new heart. No big deal. Well, you know what? The Lord was truly with you, and I know that was a huge part of your experience as well. So what are you most grateful for? I think
in a number, obviously being here is I'm super grateful for, but I think we touched a little bit of this last time I was on, but I've been able to expand on it some or really reflect on it a lot more. But I had not an easy life before this, and had a lot of challenges and traumas and all those kind of things before this. And so like I was always carrying some like a chip on my shoulder, a bit of resentment, a bit of anger. And I think the thing I'm most grateful for is the relief I got from that, coming out of kind of a death experience, which is obviously what I went through. And the experience I had when I died was very profound on me, and has, I think, lifted so much of that cloud that was always hanging over me. It felt like kind of dissipated, and I feel even a bigger sense of purpose than I had before. I feel love, I feel blessed, I feel warmth, I feel understanding about like how certain things are not important anymore. Certain things are, and what really is super important, and what's important to be upset about, and what's important to appreciate. And like, I feel like God really, really guided me. Like almost like I had to go through this. Like I needed to go through this so that I could be with him and be in his presence for a minute, because I had, kind of forsaken religion and forsaken God for most of my, or if not all of my adult life at that point, because of what I had went through growing up. And I think it was, there's times where I feel like he made me go through this so that I could not only reconnect with him, but like really like be a vessel for him again. And that's been probably the thing that I've been most grateful for, is the peace and the just love that has filled me up since the moment I woke up.
Yeah. He doesn't make us go through things, but he will allow it so that you will know that he is a deliverer. He is the God that loves you unconditionally. And he said he would never leave you nor forsake you, but you'll never know that unless you go through something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so now you have such a powerful testimony that you can share with others. And, I am just so godly proud of you, Kyle. I'm one of your biggest fans. And I just know that, you're going to do greater things and help a lot of people, by sharing your story. You continue to share on Instagram, but there's a whole new level of things that, you can do now, because you got this great second chance at life. And so you're here with your family and your loved ones, and people are making comments. Everybody loves you, and so proud of you, Kyle. So thank you so much for sharing with me tonight on my 9th heart anniversary.
Well, I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for you engaging with me, offering me words of encouragement. I know you are on your blessed mission as well, and I'm just so excited for your 9-year heart anniversary, and hopefully, raise a glass to many, many, many more ahead of you.
Thank you so much. We're going to do more in 2024, and I'm not going to stop till I get to meet you in person. How about that?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I love you, Kyle, and happy anniversary, upcoming anniversary to you too.
Thank you so much.
Kyle DODD will be competing in the 2025 World Transplant Games.